Associate Director of UTM International. Yeah. And Prof. Azalia got his Doctor of Philosophy in Information System. So exactly the same like our department, yeah, Information System. And then he has a long experience in work, especially I'd like to highlight on her experience in developing the enterprise architecture. Yeah. So until now, she's still developing and implementing, yeah, the enterprise architecture. So she is a consultant of enterprise architecture and also chief enterprise architect for Treasure Malaysia Enterprise Architecture Development Phase 1, and then also experience for the enterprise architecture development as a consultant for Ministry of Health Malaysia Digitalization Strategic Planning, and then as a trainer enterprise architecture, yeah, and then for the enterprise architecture subject matter expert for the National Institute of Health, Ministry of Health Malaysia, and also for the AR consultant in AR development for Institute Teknologi Kalimantan. Oh my. So you also got reached the Indonesian also, yeah, the institute. That's amazing. And then Bu also she has Bu Azalia also has experience in developing the enterprise architecture for the Ministry of Rural Development Malaysia, and then for the Ministry of Education Malaysia, and for the Ministry of the Administration Modernization and Management Planning Unit. So I think that's a long experience and has proved her competency and experience, yeah, in developing the enterprise architecture. Just share with Bu Azalia about what I have shared with my student in the class. So my class called Enterprise Architecture subject. That class is for master degree actually, for the master degree. But we also have a student who also maybe join with this class is for a bachelor degree, undergraduate. So in undergraduate degree, we call it the subject as strategic management or strategic planning. Yeah, strategic planning. So in bachelor degree, we study about how to formulate the vision, mission, goal, objective using the SWOT, something like that. And a part of that, also develop an enterprise architecture document. For the master degree, we also learn about the enterprise architecture. So in master degree, in my class, I teach for the master and for the PhD, but for the bachelor degree, I teach IT service management. So for the master degree, we learn about the enterprise architecture, how to understand the EA easily, like using some analogy, some analogy, like they have to develop their own personal enterprise because they own personal enterprise. So they develop their vision, mission, current situation, their dream, something like that, get analysis, yeah. Then they look at the component of the system, something like that. And finally, we learn also about the artifact, yeah, the artifact for every domain. So in my class, we have also study about the notation for every domain, like notation for the business. So we learn because the meeting is just 16 meeting, yeah, 16 meetings. So we have a limited time. So like we study about the business process modeling notation just in 2 meetings. Of course, it's not enough. Yeah. So it's like overview. Fortunately, if I got student who has learned about the business process modeling in the undergraduate, but unfortunately, I got some student who was not graduated from in information system. So they are from variety background like informatics, computer, or even some social science. So they have to learn by themselves. So my class is international class. So join with us tonight is also from Gambia, also from some other countries, yeah, here. So yes, so we learn about how to describe the business process using PPMN, and then how to draw the artifact of the domain technology, yeah, the infrastructure, the data, the application, something like that. So to wrap up all the thing, we hope we got some insight, yeah, maybe sharing knowledge, yeah, about the Bu Azalia or Prof Azalia experience how to develop the enterprise architecture, how is the real challenge, yeah, how is the real challenge, how is the maybe some example, yeah, giving them the example. Looks, the reality is not like ADM. It's not like ADM. Everything is not so smooth like that. No, it's very complicated, and the artifact is sometimes not so completed like what's it all the models. Yeah, sometimes we just have time just for a simple artifact, something like that. Yeah. So again, guys, so it is very important and a big opportunity for us to learn directly from the expert of the enterprise architecture. So please give applause, a big applause to Professor Nur Azalia Abu Bakar from University Teknologi Malaysia. Okay, time is yours, Bu Azalia.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Tony. You praised me a lot, but actually, I think we are just at the same pace, and it's very interesting that we have the same interests and same knowledge. I think later we can have a different conversation to do research together later.
Cool, cool, cool,
Because
sure.
of course we do start with the ICT strategic plannings, and then when EA come into the place, that's how the EA started. So actually for this lecture, how long do I have?
Uh, yes, two and a
Until
half hour, 2.5 hour, but maybe giving them opportunity to question and answer for 15 minutes up to 30
yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when we talk about EA, sometimes we can get so carried away. Okay. And then if you have any question, you can ask during my sharing and type at the chat. Okay, I will try to answer at the end of the session. And just type your question first, so we will address it one by one, all right? Okay, I would like to share my screen. And I do hope this sharing will benefit us, and it's more like learning from each other. Okay. Okay, this is my screen. All right. Okay, so this is me. And first assignment. Okay, can everyone scan and enter the Menti? Okay. Typical lecturers. Please join the Menti, especially the students, because Prof. Tony already mentioned that you have been into this class, and I believe you have a little bit or more knowledge on EA. All right. Okay, let me show my screen. How many of you already joined the Menti? Okay. Yeah. Okay, they are already, my Menti is limited, but at least try to answer for those who are able to join. Okay, at least we know your knowledge, so I can go, is it to the advanced, or I can slow it a bit. So that's the reason. Okay. Not familiar at all, but you say you're in class of Prof. Tony. I believe you must be familiar. Okay. At least you know the flows of the TOGAF, perhaps, or any method of EA. Or at least you know what is the BDAT is, Business Data Application and Technology. Okay. But however, if you don't have any experience, I try to explain it as layman as I can. So at least everyone will get the overview and will get the same understanding of what EA is all about. Alright, okay. We got also someone says that they are very familiar. I believe this must be Prof. Tony. Okay. And then and I have heard, but I'm not sure actually what is it. Okay. and then somewhat familiar. Okay. And let's go to the next slide. So at least I can plan on my sharing. Okay. What is your level of understanding of Archimate? I believe if you already learn about EA, then you must heard about Archimate. So for the Archimate notation, what is the levels of your knowledge? Don't worry, it's not the quiz. It's just to know your level of understanding. Okay. All right. So we got that. Most of you stated that you are not that familiar. And okay, only heard. And then we have some basic exposure. And then yeah, we do have the expert here. I can use it proficiently. So that's great. All right. Okay, can we move to the next survey? Okay, this is very related to EA. What is the first words, only words or phrases that comes to your mind when you heard digital transformers, digital transformation? Okay, future, AI. All right, interesting. What is your thought? Okay, AI. All right, technology, revolution, ERP. Technology. Okay. Most of you answered technology. Okay. There are 86 people joined this survey. Can we get more feedback? When we talk about digital transformation, what do you envision? What do you think that it's associated with that? AI, okay, and technology, and future, transforming manual tasks, digital twin, evolution, Optimus Prime. No, of course, it's not in EA. All right, as it is rigid planning, online base. Okay. All right. Okay, so I can say that most of you, when we talk about digital transformation, there must be the technology related to that. And the current technology that everyone look into now is the AI, correct? And also the cyber, in the cyber world. And we talk about the future. Okay. So next survey. In your perspective, which one that you think is important in these EA domains? There's nothing wrong or right answer. It's just your perspective. Okay. All this feedback, you'll get the answer during my sharing later. Okay. Majority of you stated, somehow, sometimes it's become a business and then data, technology, but very less people says that application architecture is important. Okay. All right. Okay. Business, technology. Okay. All right. Okay, we can say that most of you stated the business is the most important based on the ranking, and then the apps is the less important. Okay, we'll see. And this one, this is just to test your knowledge. Which statement most accurately captures the strategic purpose of EA in an organization? When we talk about the EA, actually, what is the core keyword? It looks similar. It looks like every option is correct, but the one that really define EA is that particular keyword. Read carefully. Okay. Any try later lagi? First, to optimize technology investment by standardizing system and reducing duplication across department. All right. And then the second option, to govern digital initiative by enforcing compliance with ICT policy, security controls, and operational procedures. And the third one, to provide a unified architectural blueprint that align organizational strategy with business processes, data flows, application, and technology. And the fourth one, to modernize service delivery by introducing automation tools and digital transformation for improved operational performance. Okay, looks like everyone, we got 61 answer here. And do you want to know the correct answer? Okay. The most accurate when the phrase EA come into the place, yeah? You look at the element there. It must have business, data, application, and technology. So if any of you answer this is the correct answer, C. So there are 18 people answer it correctly. Not to say the rest is not correct, but the rest is not that accurate to describe the EA. Okay, why? Because this one, to optimize technology investment, standardizing the system, it can be in so many ways. Sometimes from the strategic planning also you can achieve this because it didn't emphasize on the business, data, application, and technology. We talk about your investment and reduce duplication. You have learned about the ICT strategic planning, right? When we do the plan, you already do the assessment of the current environment. So you can suggest this actually in your strategic planning. No need to do the EA, you already know. So that's why the A answer is not that accurate. Okay. This one, govern digital initiative. The keyword here, when you have the govern, actually it falls under the governance, the IT governance. So it's another pillar of ICT. So anything to do about the govern, it is under a policy or you call it the ICT governance. Okay, so it's not really needs the EA. EA can be a supporting elements to justify why it need to be governed this and this and this. Okay, so for the EA, this is what you must emphasize. It must have a blueprint. This is the deliverables for EA. Okay, that what makes EA different from ICT strategic planning, because ICT strategic planning, you deliver a plan, okay? But with EA, you must deliver a blueprint, all right? The blueprint is the notation that we as the architect normally use the same notation across the world, which is the Archimate, okay? And this one, when you talk about automation tool, digital platform, it can be in so many ways. Sometimes you call it like action plan, or they call it some transformation plan, or sometimes they just call it the automation, digitalization, whatsoever project that you want to call, because it's a very specific. You want to execute the automation tools. Okay? All right. So this is the survey first, and then only we can start the sharing. Okay, so far so good? Okay. Let me continue my presentation. Okay, if you have any question, as I mentioned earlier, please state it in the chat, okay? All right. Okay. So let me go have a revisit on what this EA is all about. Again, I know that most of you already learn about EA from Prof. Tony class. So this is on sharing, like a revision to make you on the same platform again. Okay, we based on the same understanding again. So EA is on aligning of the business, data, application, and technology. Okay, as you can see here. All right, so when we talk about the business, the actual thing is on how you understand the business functionality and also the business function. Okay, hold on, yeah. Okay, the business function. So this is where you need to really learn about the structure of your organization that you studies and what is the function of each department that you're going to deliver. Okay, as simple as that first. And then for each function, if there is already a system, then you study the system. The system that is being used is to support which particular business function. And in case there is no system in place, then you'll find a gap there. So that's one gap. So you still have to, what we call it, design the business process of that particular department. And then you just stated there is no system. So for those manual processes, it will stop at this level only. Okay? At the business and data, because they do produce a data, but the data is in manual. For example, a letter, a files, or anything that is in hard copy. But for those who already have a system, it will go down another layer, application, and then where those application is hosted. All right. So that is another understanding or another analysis. However, when you do a thorough investigation of that particular organization, you will see that the application work in silo. Although you need the information from this particular system to support the other particular system, but they don't talk to each other. Either about the policy didn't allow, or either they're being developed at a different environment, or the data is in the different format. Those are the gap that you'll find when you do the EA analysis. We call it the gap analysis. So to resolve that with a new solution, you produce the to-be solution. All right? Okay. So this is the difference, okay, from the business architecture. Before we have the EA, all this architecture being defined in their ways. Okay? Not to say that it's not right. It is still acceptable, but only that only those particular by the layers will understand. And the IT, of course, they have their own definition and own notation. So when the EA come in place, we use the same notation. Notation is the diagram, this one, across the business and also IT. So the business will understand actually the business process that they execute, how the IT solution will support it, and vice versa. So these IT people knows when they develop a system is actually to support which particular business process. Okay. I believe you already understand that the importance of why you need a strategy and why you need a process here. So that's why when we start doing the real project on EA, or in fact the ICT strategic planning as well, we must understand the vision, mission of the organization and also understand what is the core business of that particular organization. Okay, only then you will be able to understand what is the core information, what is the core data, and also what are the particular application, because normally application also you can categorize into the core application and supporting application. Core application is the application that support the business process, the reason for that particular organization exists. Meanwhile, for the supporting application, it's like a booking system, for vehicles or attendance list is a supporting, okay? It's not the core business of your particular organization. And also the technology architecture is the infrastructure, everything that you can see to support whatever digitalization is the technology architecture. Okay, so this is related on the question I asked just now. Why digital transformation is really important nowadays. It's not just about the technology, but actually you transform the people as well. All right. So your people in your organization able to work in more conducive environment, and in fact they can do the job fastest. All right. And of course, it will support the strategy of your organization. Okay. Yeah, and your organization will be more competitive, and the culture. And of course, like we nowadays allow the flexi working hours as well as you can work from anywhere, right? For those organizations. So by having this digitalization, actually, you provide a much better culture. People can go for the work-life integration. So that's the spirit. And of course, the technologies, okay? You can leverage on all the recent technologies and the customer engagement can be more personalized, all right? So, and in fact, for some examples for the higher education, there are also proven studies already. Why EA is important for the higher education. And in fact, for UTM, we'll be execute the EA project next year. We just finished doing the pre-study last month. Okay. Familiar with this diagram? Okay. I hope most of you already knows how to read this diagram. Okay. So this is Archimede diagram. Okay, this is one of the project. Why I put contoh? Contoh is example. I believe the Indonesian also understand this. We use the similar words, right? Okay. This is one of the projects that my team have conducted for the Ministry of Rural Development in Malaysia. Okay. This project, we have to study the whole ecosystem for this particular ministry and understand the whole business process. So this is the deliverables for that particular business process called that how to enhance the housing program for the specific group of underprivileged people, because rural development, we look into the village groups and also some indigenous communities and so on. Okay, so for this case, okay, what we did is, okay, is this one. All right, we first try to understand what is happening in this particular, this is process. Okay, this is the business process here. So because they never look into this process and they have no what we call it exercise on translating the processes into a document format. Okay, all is within the officer's knowledge. So this is the actor, is the officers and all the government servants who execute these particular processes. Okay, so for those who couldn't understand Malay or Indonesia, I'm so sorry because this is the real deliverables. So I just show it. So I assume that you can interpret by your own. And then for each processes, you need to map who deliver these particular processes. So if you can see here, this process have no system at all been done manual, because this is the data that is in digital format where actually they put it in Excel and the email. And this one is all the manual file. And what we suggest is, if you can see the difference here, from there are 4 people, actually they can expedite the process of approval by assigning only 1 officer here. Okay. So to sign this particular proposal, they need to go up to 4 signatures. Okay, 4 signees. So when we show this diagram, of course, you have to go through a series of workshop and focus group and shows your client, okay, your users on these findings, and they actually a bit surprised. And then when we said, can you just represent the approval to 1 person? So that is how they agreed that only this particular officer will give the approval, because the rest is actually report to the same one. Okay, so this is one of the improvement from the business side. Meanwhile, for the process side, nothing much, because this is all pretty clear. And by having this improvement, actually, the approval process become a little bit faster. Okay, that is one advantage from the business layers. All right, and this one, this is on the apps layer. Okay, the apps layer, when we go and study the existing application that this government has been operation, okay?
Recording in progress.
They actually have a very silo system, and this is the capability. All right, if you learn EA, the notation you already know, right? So this,
Hello, sir. Good evening.
so this is their capability. Okay, if you can see, is actually their capability is the one on top. But where the most system actually on the supporting side, memantapkan kecakapan sistem penyampaian is actually how you can enhance your service delivery. Service delivery is talking about how the people in your organization do all these processes. Okay? But actually, it didn't really support your core business. Your core business for the rural ministry is actually to support those at the rural area. Like you give the basic infrastructure, you enhance their economy, and then you improve their learning to the rural people. This is actually the system that really give a direct benefit to the citizens. Okay? But then the investment or all the works that they have been developed actually for the internals benefit. Not to say that it is wrong, but this is a time for them to look back, or maybe they can just merge some of the system, make it into a module, because when we found out, most of the system is just a very simple system. So actually they can just merge into one system and make it as a module instead of single separate system, because those systems also been hosted at the different environment using different programming language. So you know what is the consequences. Because when you want to maintain, or when the officers transferred or resign, nobody will maintain the system. All right. So this is the findings. And after that, what we propose, okay, after we highlight all those issues, and of course, you need the agreement from the users, the owner, we says that you need to rationalize and categorize your system. So by having this, only you can set the priority, and then you can have a specific segmentation. So this is actually for the particular department. This is the system by this department. This is the system to use internally, and so on. So whenever there is the upgrade, or whenever there is a patch, or you want to do some maintenance, if you base from your existing architecture, you'll do for all. But it's time consuming and actually not that impactful. But then if you have by this segmentation, the advantage is, which is also highlighted in EA, you can select, maybe you don't have a budget or time or the resources of the experts. So actually you just focus on the criticals and your core processes. you don't have to update every single system yet at one particular time. Okay, so this is actually, you prove that how EA can enhance and also optimize the strategic value of your organization. All right, so sasaran means your future state. Okay, so when we do the analysis for the whole organization, this is what we propose. All right, so we also accommodate and put into the place what is the system that is ongoing, under development, system that will be stopped soon, all right, system that are having the enhancements, and also system by other agencies that they need to use to support their business. Okay, so by having this category, okay, they'll know where will be the priority. Okay, that's the good thing. So I suggest, if you would like to deliver and implement your EA solution, try to make it as simple and as easy for your users to read. I believe when you have a glance at these particular deliverables, also you have the, you can easily understand it. Okay, so we have grouped it into the core services, and this is by the particular department. So this system is used by this department who provide the infrastructure. So you know the owner. Okay, and this is for the entrepreneurship of the rurals. And then this is for the economy or the people. And this is more on the learning. Compared to the previous one, they just group it in one listing. Okay. Meanwhile, down here is the supporting system. Okay. By having this particular layout, particular design, when you show it to your top management, they'll be very happy because they know their capability and how much that they have been doing the digitalization in their particular organization. Okay, I show the result first, yeah. Okay, and this one, if you familiar with the ADM, right? There's one last process where you need to suggest. Okay, if you remember TOGAF, after you do the as-is analysis, the phase BCD, and then you turn back to BCD and you do the 2B. Okay, if you cannot imagine what I'm talking, you can Google the TOGAF now. Okay, after that, you have another phase called implementation. This is where the implementation part, where you suggest the work packages. Okay, people sometimes they got confused. What is work packages looks like? Okay, so not to say that this is the ideal solution, but after do some comparison and studies with other deliverables from my friend across the world, when you propose the work packages, it's not a program like ICT strategic planning. Okay, you need to design in this particular ways. That is EA. If you put the work packages to do this, and you put a step, yes, it is acceptable. But then as the true EA practitioner, for me, you're still missing a component. So if you will deliver the work packages, we need to highlight also in that particular blueprint, this is the blueprint, where is your packages will solve. Okay, for example, WP is work packages. So for this example, I have work packages 6 is to introduce the single sign-on, because for this agency, they don't have the single sign-on in place. Every system has their own login. Okay, so this is one solution that they need to implement. And then work packages 2 and 7 is more like on the having the grouping just now. So they need to segment their application. Okay. And work packages 5 is on the data solution, because they don't have any data solution yet. They just have the transactional database, and then they just do a report based on their transaction database. So they don't have the data warehouse, data mart, and so on. So these packages is totally a solution for the data. So when you do a real implementation, this is what to say, the most easiest for your client or for your users to understand. Okay, you translate it in the layman term like this, and you provide a diagram too. Okay, so this is the packages when we drill down into. Okay, this is the one that I shows that we propose that later you need to have a dashboard and so on, because the one in orange color, they don't have it yet, but we have to propose in the to be part, the solution for the to be part. How to execute? Yes, through this work package, the WP2. Okay, so far so good. Okay, and so on. So this is all the solution through the work packages that they need to think for the future. Okay, and of course, how you can come up with a solution, you need to really understand what is happening at the current situation, at the as-is situation. You cannot just simply suggest this without knowing their current capability, or else people at that particular organization cannot execute it because they don't have the basic at all. Okay, so it just become a plan that will be stored on the bookshelf only. So you must be really realistic based on your current assessment, and only you can suggest what will be the suitable solution for them to execute in the future. Okay, so far so good. Maybe I can take a question or I go to advanced. Okay. Any questions so far? Let me check. Okay. No question yet? Okay. I proceed, yeah? Okay. If there's no question, I shall proceed. All right. If you have any question, I will stop and read through your question because I'm afraid I will go too far and too advanced. Okay. All right. This is the framework. First is TOGAF. I believe most of you also doing the TOGAF. This is the phase that I mentioned just now, the B, C, D, right? And then you do the as is here, and then you go back and propose the to be. And this is where you do the gap analysis. And when you do the migration and planning, this is where the work package comes. And implementation and governance is more on the operation models, where you assign for that particular work packages who will deliver that processes, when you will deliver that processes, and sometimes we go to extend that how much is the cost that you're willing to allocate. And this one is more on the change management part, who will in charge. Normally, when I deliver a project, we put what will be the suggested change management process and how they are going to execute from time to time. Okay. And Zekman. Zekman is another EA approach, but to be honest, in Asia, not many apply the Zekman approach. Okay, TOGAF is more famous. Zekman approach, of course, from your class also, I believe, you need to fill in the boxes here. Okay, but Zekman didn't define to use any whatever notation. It's up to you. Okay. Meanwhile, TOGAF, they couple with the Archimate. Okay. MyGov EA is the Malaysian government EA framework. So for those in the Malaysian public sector, we must use this MyGov EA framework. Okay, we have to follow the step that is defined in MyGov EA framework. This is for the Malaysian public sector. For the private sector, it's up to them. But normally they use TOGAF or they use any other framework that they customize for themselves, right? So, approach. Okay, when you do a real EA project, top down or bottom up? The answer is depends. Why I say depends? Because it depends on your nature of your particular organization. If you work in the large organization or you work in the government sector, top down is the best because the power of execution come from top. Okay. Bottom up, if you work in the industry, if you work in the technology, if you work on the startup, because there is less hierarchy in your organization. And everyone, like a startup company, right? You belong to the same age gap. So everyone work at the same pace, same understanding, same wavelength. Okay. So bottom up will be a success here. Okay. But meanwhile, if you're in a large organization, this is the best approach. Okay. However, top down can be so time consuming. Okay. And bottom up can be fast, right? What we'll do, ideally, me and my team, okay, in this session also, I have my team join, we'll merge. Okay. Bottom up, normally, when we do the real project, this is based on my experience. Maybe the other project leaders have different approach, okay? Bottom up work best with the technology and application. You have to start, go and understand the technology and apps and go and meet the technology peoples. And for the business and data, you go from top because the business decision come from top. So you need to have two teams. One work with the top, one work with the technical, and then you merge in the middle. That way, you can finish your EA project in a large organization like what we did for the Ministry of Rural in 1 year full. Okay. So which one is more difficult? For me, same. Okay. This is what we shared. If you are simple, you can have it fast. But if it's a very complicated, I really advise that you merge it and you must work and combine it in the middle here. Okay. If your vision and if your direction and if your approach is good enough and aligned, actually, although you deploy two teams, one team go understand the business and data and another team focus on application and technology, you will be able to meet it in between. But then if you didn't have a same understanding within your team, this one go another way, this one go another way, in your EA team yourself, you might not able to combine it. Okay, so this is depends on your chief EA experience. All right, so that's why in a real EA project, chief EA really need to have a sync up meeting at least 2 weeks one or 1 week one to make sure both team sync with each other. All right. Okay. So this is how we execute EA in Malaysia. Okay, let me show the example in Malaysia first. Okay, so that's why Malaysia have MyGov EA. So I believe Indonesia also have their own plan how you're going to execute your EA, right? So in Malaysia, we already define it with our policy, national policy. Normally, we call it the Malaysia plan. In the Malaysia plan, we have 5 years plan and we have all the allocation, like just a rough figure. So every ministry will do their strategic planning, will do their ICT strategic planning, and that is where the EA come into the place. You design the planning there. Okay, so you can do the EA by your ministry or by the particular projects. Maybe your project is so big, so you can establish the EA by the project itself. So this is how you can suggest and chunk your EA project. But whatever it is, EA must always come from the business direction. Okay, if you just do the apps and technology, actually it's just a normal technology solution, digital transformation. That's it. We don't call it EA because EA must be a combination of the strategic, business, and technology. Okay, so in Malaysia, we call it whole of government solution. This is all the EA in between the Malaysia ministry align with each other. So let's say we've done a EA with the Ministry of Rural, and now my team is doing the EA with the Ministry of Finance, and just earlier that we done EA with the Ministry of Health. Actually, we talk to each other. We always cross-ref on the deliverables of EA, right? So that is how it should be done also in a large ecosystem, maybe for your province or for your government. Okay? Familiar, right, with this diagram? This is the diagram that most top management love because this is the layered diagram. So in Malaysia, they call it landscape map view because maybe it's for the better understanding. But if you are the Archimate people, this is called layered viewpoint. So here, you can see the medium of the services. Okay, remember this notation? How you define the medium. Medium can be the counter, can be the emails, can be through the interactive kiosks and so on. You define your medium. And you define your users. Normally, we put who is the internal users and external users. Okay, this is the most basic, yeah? And then, as what I shown just now, you define what is your core businesses. And if you would like to explain also your supporting services, you can have a box here. Okay, this notation here is a services, right? So why we group? Because in the big services, there will be a sub-services. So that's why when you do the EA, you really need to go deep and understand the particular business function of that organization. Then another layer is the data layer. In EA, you don't have to go deep into the ERD diagram. The database attribute is the option, okay? If you have time and you have the resources of people to do it, yes, you can do. But as basic as for the EA, you need to define the data object. Data object can be like, we can say that rural people conceive of who? Indigenous people, of the village people under this category and so on. So you put a description for that particular business object. Okay. So in the data also, because in organization, you didn't just sit by yourself. Data dalaman, okay, is your internal data, and you might need to use other agencies or other people data. So you also acknowledge the external data that you use to support your business process. And the data, if it's in blue color, it is the digital data, while meanwhile is in the yellow is the manual data. Okay, why we need to highlight this? Because if you have this setup only that you know your organization actually really a digital one or still doing things manual. So this is a room for improvement, how you can go for the digital transformation. Okay. And you will identify also the apps. This is important also because sometimes you didn't realize that you have so many applications, but then the application just similar to each other. Or maybe you don't have application, only one, while the rest process are manual. So this is also the gap. And lastly is on the technology layer. It's also good enough for you to draw, to design as much as detail as possible. Only that you know, actually, you don't have the specific environment for the development. You do the development, you host the live application in one single server. So it's a very risky, for those who are really in IT, right? So this is how the EA can highlight this gap. So you already see the risk of the security, the risk of your infrastructure being attacked or not perform well. So this is how you can improve. For this particular example, it's a very simple one. Okay, when you do the EA, you need to deliver as details as possible. Okay. All right. So how to start? Okay. Again, when you start to dissect the EA into the organization, you have to learn and understand at least there are 3 layers set up in organization. Okay, this is more on the business setup. Okay, who will be at the strategy level? Of course, the top management, the CIO, that kind of levels. Okay, and then the segment is the head of department that lead that particular department. The capability and solution projects is those who do the operation day to day. Okay. If you're able to segregate this, your EA implementation will be much clearer. I wouldn't say it's simple, but actually you know how to tackle and how you can design your architecture from top to bottom or from bottom to up. Okay? Because if you understand the business strategy here, you can go and align to the middle to understand what is the department business objective. Does it align or not? Okay. And then only you will know, maybe for the information or the data, does the data really support the business decision? Okay. And does the application that this particular department really align with what they do? Maybe they have the application, but this application not really that important. Okay, this is where you will assess on the investment of that particular solution on digitalization. Okay, and if they have a smaller project, those who do the things on the ground, you can also get to understand where actually most resources being deployed. Are they really doing the task that they should do? EA actually can highlight it. Okay, remember the diagram that I showed earlier, whereby for one particular signing, they need until 4 people. So after you do the EA, actually those process can be cut into 1 person. Okay. All right. So when you do understand these particular planning levels, okay, then only you can propose your EA solution to solve which levels. Okay. If you have enough time, enough capability, and enough expertise, you can cover all the 3 levels in this triangle. You can do strategy, and then you can deep dive into the segment and go into the capability. However, some organization, they don't have enough expertise or time. So they might just stop at the strategy levels. So they don't look into the business processes. They just define the business function and then what are the supporting application. Yes, they can also do that. It's just that I'll always advise for that particular organization, please execute until the end for the next phases, or else you actually couldn't find the gap, because most of the issues and most of the gap actually appear here. This is where the pain point exists actually. Okay, here only the beautiful things. Okay, that's what stated. All right. So far so good. Okay. This is how we structured when you do the EA. That's why I said EA can be a very large project, but then if you have a limited resources, limited funding, time, and people expertise, you can start by phase. Perhaps you can do by these strategy levels, and then you just go for this particular segment, and then for this particular business process of the business unit first. Okay, you can make it as the pilot case here, because the deliverables for the TOGAF, like example, right, you still need to do the full cycle of TOGAF. So when your team is comfortable enough, expert enough, yeah, and then you also have enough resources in terms of money and time, you can do a replication of that for the other segment here. Okay? But then if you have a big budget, you can do this whole round at once. No issue at all. Okay. For my case and my team here, we have done for the whole pyramid here. Okay. The one that I said took 1 year. That is for the Ministry of Rurals. And now the one that we are currently working on is on Ministry of Finance. They only pick 2 units because Ministry of Finance in Malaysia also larger. It's much larger than Ministry of Rurals. So we just start with the 2 first. So after this, maybe they expand into another phase. So it depends on your setup. For my universities, that they will execute the EA next year, we will do for the whole universities. All right? Okay. So this is the levels of your architect will decide together with the business. So you must assess your capability of your team as well. Okay? For you to decide the scope of your EA projects. Okay? So far so good? Any question? Or am I going too fast? Okay? No question so far? Okay, I like to ask.
There is question in the chat.
Yeah, Mr. Aidil. Okay, there's one question. Managing technology evolution in EA. Once the SS and 2B are established, what mechanism or governance process ensure that EA is revisited when new technologies or capabilities emerge? Is there an industry accepted review cycle or trigger for updating the BDAT? Okay, to answer that, if you use TOGAF, in TOGAF, there is already the last cycle of TOGAF that you call it the change management. Okay, so in the change management, you already define the step. How you're going to revise that particular blueprint that you propose in a 2B. So that is one mechanism. In case you don't use TOGAF, okay, because in TOGAF there's already a step. Okay, if you don't use TOGAF, you can use a method like a normal ICT strategic plan. When you do the ICT strategic plan, you have the quarter milestone checking, right? To check how much that you have improved based on your plan. So that's another checking. So we always check by quarterly. At least by quarter, you check how far that you have gone through the planning. Okay. And then for the revisited, normally when you do the 2B, you already plan for the 5 years, what will be the emerging technology that you anticipate. However, if there is suddenly the needs for the new technology, that being a wow factor that you need to accommodate immediately. So while doing the revise by quarterly, you can embed those particular new technology. So EA is not fixed solution. It's always a living document. So you can always update your EA. So which one to update? Business data application or technology? Actually, you can update for all. Maybe your business process already changed due to the reorg and you cannot execute the original plan because this particular business no longer exists. Of course, you need to update your EA. This happened in one of my projects, Ministry of Education and Ministry of Higher Education. We're doing the EA and suddenly, at first, Ministry of Education and Higher Education in Malaysia is one. And then there's some revamp in the organization structure. Ministry of Higher Education and Ministry of Education split. So after a discussion, they decided EA just focus on the Ministry of Education. Whatever on the Ministry of Higher Education, They will do it later. They will govern by them. So that's happened. So it's normal. All right. So another question. What is the connection between ERP and EA? Okay. Before I answer the connection, I would like to know actually what is the purpose of ERP and what's the purpose of EA. Okay. This one you must be very clear first. Okay. Because I'm also doing the ERP during my early years of working. Okay. I work in one of the retail chain as the IT analyst. Maybe you heard about Mydin. I work there. So I in charge of the ERP also at Mydin. So ERP is to support your operation, right? In a retail from the goods you order until for the rest of operation. Let's say in the retail store, if where you do the data warehouse, not the data warehouse or IT, you order the goods, you put at the data warehouse, you count the stock, you execute to the branches, you have a sales and you do a dashboard and you repeat the cycle. So ERP in that kind of case, or ERP can be in the other kind of case. It supports the operation of your organization. So EA. EA will come into the place if you want to improve your ERP. Let's say your ERP don't have the data warehouse. ERP taken care of all the transaction into a digital format. You have a normal databases. But then your boss asks you to do a forecasting. Actually, for this particular Eid or Ramadan, how many stock should I order for this particular what we call it foods and so on. So at moment, you might not be able to do it. So if you have the EA, you can understand what is happening because you will draw the similar diagram for the current ERP, and you will know when you do the dashboard, actually, for that particular, which data that will bring value to do this prediction. If you would like to do a dashboard, actually, what will be the data model and what will be the source of operation, databases, and the application that your ERP support. So that enhancement from the existing solution, and then for the things that you plan for the future, maybe you would like to add the AI or the sensors. So that will be under 2B EA solution. So you must have a vision first. The EA is to solve what? Okay. So ERP will be the source of your digital solution to be elevated. Okay. Let me continue. I hope it's not that complicated, right? You're a master student, most of you. Okay. So this is the connection. So just now we're talking about the ERP, right? So ERP is here. This is where the ERP, the category of ERP in the context of the digital environment. Okay. So this is where the ERP, because it supports the business and IT operation. Okay. This is if you do the project management, this is time basis. Okay. So EA, when you do the EA, first, you must know your subject matter. For example, you take the case of ERP. Your subject matter is on the ERP. And then you want to plan your EA. So you must establish a project team, because project team will look into the progress of EA. Remember the TOGAF cycle? The project team will take care to make sure the architect here follow the plan. Okay. Because when I do the EA project, I'll always in this part. Okay. So my partners here who do the project management will control the timeline and so on. If the same chief architect do this one for the big project, you will get burnt out because it's so much to take care of. So as the chief architect, you will take care of the artifacts of the design of how the new looks of your proposed solution will looks like. And the architect also will lead on the analyzing all those bidat layers. Okay. So the architect also need to understand the existing strategic planning and the future strategic planning. Okay. And the business planning, and the architect also need to work with the change management. If your project is big enough, I always advise you to have a change management team. It looks simple, but actually, change management team will encourage those in your organization to accept the changes when you introduce the to-be solution later. Okay, so there will be less resistance. Okay, in my setup, I always have the change management team as well. So they'll do a promotion, they'll do like tutorials, they do like the eye opener for the citizens and for those who will use the new technology that we'll introduce. So the transition when we propose a new idea through the EA, they didn't resist. They accept, and even they are excited to execute or to use the new technology. Okay, so for the rest, solution architect and solution development. Okay, this is also one of the things that people get confused. People thought that EA, you need to design a system. No. Okay, as the architect, always be clear. We're not designing a system. Like you building any building, right? You're building any condominium or house or bridge, right? You are the architect. Architect design the team. The one who built is the civil engineers. Those are the engineers, right? And then those workers. We design things based on the requirement, based on the budget. Okay, so same goes with the digital solution. For this one, there will be another team, like the system development team, the AI team, or the data warehouse team, who will execute the actual project based on our study that we have done here. Okay, so this is the segregation of tasks and roles of the EA. Okay, someone might challenge, says that before this, we don't have EA, we can just always design, right? No harm. Yes, it is. But remember the example I showed just now? Due to this, you have so many silos system because nothing govern the system that you develop for that particular organization. And the data that you captured is in different format. So you cannot use it for the data warehouse, for the analytic, and so on. You have to do another process to massage and cleanse everything in order for you to do the data processing. So at least now when we have the EA in place, we put a uniform ways of reference, a single reference. We already stated, if you would like to develop a system, this is the ways that you should do it. And this is the particular standard reference, okay? And if you want to have a data, this is the operational definition of this particular data object. So nobody come up with their own understanding. Okay, so that is the beauty of EA. Okay, I already mentioned it just now. What is different between the ICT strategic planning and EA? Yes. So for the ICT strategic planning, we talk about the strategy. Meanwhile, for the EA, you have to do until the end, until the design. So that's the best solution for EA. Okay, so this is the deliverables. Planning, the most design that you do in the digital planning is the landscape map view, or we call it the layered view. Okay, you don't have to go deep dive. Meanwhile, for the EA project, yes, you have to go and draw every single diagram, the one I showed just now. So this is one of the diagram, like you already familiar, right? You have to draw every single servers and so on here. So this is the true EA deliverables. Okay. Okay, we come to the how part. Okay, just bear with me. Or I already share the option. So if you says that EA is difficult, not to say it's difficult, actually it's depend on how you tackle it. Do you want it to have the top down? Okay, like the example of the ministry that my team have conducted together, or you want to focus on the key function, So this is the current project that I'm doing with the Ministry of Finance with my team. We focus on a specific function only, or you want to focus by the projects. This is also can be done, okay? Meaning that you have a big project, so you just want to do the EA based on the project, okay? So the choice is yours, okay? And you, of course, you need to think of the pros and cons of each particular section or the segment that you choose. Okay. So how to make EA simple? Because this is a method. When you talk about EA, you have to fulfill the cycle. You have to do by strategic segment capability, right? Always chunk it. Okay. So that's why as the chief EA, you really need to read a whole document, read all the related whatsoever plan, get the overview, and then only you can chunk it to your team to do it within their particular scope. Okay, so the task of the chief architect is to align it together. Okay, you cannot do EA lump sum because of, or else you will get overwhelmed, you will get confused. Okay, because to be honest, EA is very taxing. It requires a lot of tasks, but then it's doable. Okay, so the planning is very important for EA. Okay, so this is also what we always bring a concern. The resources must be competent and good enough, and always be flexible. Because during EA, sometimes you have to translate a process that never been written anywhere. It's in the tacit knowledge of that particular person. So you need to do a series of interview, and then you draw it, and then you show that diagram to that same person, and suddenly this person said, do I say is that? Then that person said, oh, last time I forgot to mention, actually we do this. So you redo and redraw, you show again. And sometimes we do it like back and forth until 5 times, 3 times. Because you know what? They never stated, and those knowledge only belong to that particular one person. Okay. So yes, doing this EA is tough, but then the results is so nice because you're able to extract all the processes, all the data, all the hidden things that being stored in that particular knowledge of those particular person, or if there any loophole within the process. Okay. So this is the thing that I mentioned just now, how you chunk it. Okay. For you, if you become the chief architect, of course, you need to understand the whole cube here. Okay. And to the team, if you do the business, you will look into that particular segment only. Okay. And if you do the technology, you will look into this. As for me, I'll set up my team like that. We need to have a business people, data people, application people, and technology people. If I put the same person to do all the 4 layers, my team will get confused. So I also advise you, if you would like to do a real EA project, please have a specific one. Okay? All right. Okay, this is already being discussed just now. Okay, this is the example just now that I showed the option. Okay. Okay. So this is the step of MyGov EA. Similar like TOGAF. However, we make it much more simpler, so at least everyone in Malaysia government able to follow step by step. Or else in TOGAF, they are so thick book, right? It's very hard for you to read. Okay. Okay. For the process and gap, this is how you come with the solution. Okay. You must have a very emerging ideas, a very, sometimes we call it a wild idea. You need to read a lot, and only then you can prove this EA will do the transition for your particular organization. Okay, and the last part. Okay, this is one of the projects that I do for UTM. This is for the UTM space. It's considered like a private parts of UTM where we conduct the private wing. So the last part of EA, you need to put when is the transition will took place. This is the as is, and then the to be will be done by this period. So in the middle is the transition architecture. So the work package, remember, is all the work package for that particular solution that you would like to improve. Okay, so from this work package, actually, you can come up with a different project. Example for like this, integrated data and analytics. Actually, you can hire or engage a data team to execute this. So this become what we call it, the project that will be in place for the future that come from the EA suggestion. Okay, so we already anticipate that there are so many things to do for the EA solution. So you can only see the actual results by 2028 and so on. Okay. So governance. Okay. Okay, I already touched on this a little bit. Okay. It is very good if you're able to provide one row each. However, if you have limited resources, at least you can have one person that cover business and data and one person to cover application and technology. The chief architect is a must because chief architect will combine all these four together. I would not advise if you have the BDAT done by one single person because it will get so complicated. Okay, this is from my experience. Okay, training. The most simple things, if you already know TOGAF, yes, it's a good what we call it framework because TOGAF is step by step, and Archimate. That is the tools that you need to master. Okay, and the rest is through your actual project. You will learn a lot when you do the on-job training. Okay, and from there, you will be able to become a good architect. Okay, involved in so many EA project, then you will be safe. Okay. All right, I have example. Let me go quickly. This is one of the project that I've done just a small scale for UTM private wing. Okay, this is where we start. You need to understand your organization. And this is the total diagram that this project produced. Okay, BPV, BFV, this one that is the normal. BPV stands for business process view, business function, application, cooperation. Okay, all this short form is all the Archimate diagram. Okay, you can refer to that. So this is one examples, okay, of the business process. Why I didn't put the link because I want to give the overview first. So this is the to be state because for this particular business process, they never had a black and white document. Okay, so we come up with this solution. We group by their services and highlight all the function that they should have in the future. Okay, and then this is the solution for the data. Looks at how we map again from the business function and we suggest what will be the data object. And we also suggest what will be the layout for the data solution here. So as the EA, this is what you need to suggest and propose for that particular organization. And this is also the solution for you to design for the segregation of the application. Before this, they just put all the application in one server and they don't have a single sign-on. Okay. From this design, the particular security team will deliver with solution, and later those the database admin and also the servers admin will rearrange the segregation of their application properly in the data center and also in their servers. Okay. And this is also on the technologies layer. Okay, technologies layer. Maybe before this, they don't have this kind of security or the servers, virtualization and so on, or the DMZ or firewall is too little. So this is where we propose them to have a look. This is what you should have based on the current practice that what is other organization have right now. Okay. Only when you do the as is, you know how prepared and how secure is your technology layers actually. Okay. So this is the solution because when you do the 2B, if you put it like that, your particular organization will get confused. Which one should I start first? Okay. So that's why we come into the work package. Work package is considered like a project. So you map again. So for the work package 1, actually you saw which part. Work package 2, project 2, you will handle which part and which part. If you're having this kind of mapping, then your particular organization will be happy. They'll be clearer. Actually, oh, this is to resolve these issues and these issues. And they will appreciate your EA solution. And of course, you need to explain why you propose this project. So this is one of the write-up that I say why they need to have this kind of solution. Okay, and we propose the new setup because before this, they don't have the digital transformation unit. Okay, and this is the implementation and migration view. So we translate it into Archimate notation as well. So this is the step. And what will be the deliverables? This is actually the document that they need to produce by each step. Okay. So let me share. This is more on the setup. Okay, that's all. Okay, I try to be as simple as I can. Okay, maybe we can start for the discussion. I hope I'm not confusing you all and not to make you very confused or afraid to venture into EA project. Believe it or not, EA project is so interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Over to you, Prof.
Yeah. Okay. It's it's really insightful for us. Yeah. So okay. So guys, especially student from Indonesia, I found many student from Jakarta. Yeah, from Jakarta, from Jogja, also from Surabaya. I found some student from uh, Malaysia also, and also our international student from Gambia, from other country who join with also. So, okay, so if you want to ask, you can raise hand or you write on the chat, yeah. But I will discuss to make you. I hope that it will make you clearer, yeah, easy to understand for student. Maybe uh, just join with this class. Yeah, I understand many school of IS in Indonesia have a curriculum to teach about enterprise architecture and also another topic called strategic planning or strategic planning. So as you see that actually it's two different topic, yeah, two different things. But I know for School of Information System who provide or who teach strategic planning, but inside the topic, they also teach enterprise architecture. So I guarantee the topic is very big topic, yeah, because you cover from how to formulate the from the business aspect, how to formulate vision, mission, a goal, objective, something like that, and also still there is a hot discussion, yeah, whether the undergraduate student eligible to formulate vision mission or not, because they just understand something that practical, not to thinking about the future, yeah, not because that's becoming also a discussion in our department. Then in my department, Department of Information System in ITS, we decided that the bachelor degree not formulating the vision mission. Yeah, so they just given from the company, the vision mission of the business, and then they try to translate into IT strategy, but the IT strategy or the IT goal is not also formulated by the student because student, especially undergraduate, we believe they don't have, sorry to say that, doesn't haven't had capacity to think strategically. So we adapt many framework, yeah. So we take the 13 list of the IT business goals from the COVID or enterprise goal from the COVID. So we collect many given lists from the framework, from the proven framework. So the undergraduate student, they utilize all the framework that has been provided and has been proven by many best practices. Yeah. So that's what we doing for the strategic planning subject. And also we also explore about how to evaluate our resources, our weaknesses, our advance, yeah, using the SWOT, using the TOS, and using many tools, yeah, for exploring the strategy. Yeah, yeah. We propose the strategy, but again, we need some references. Yeah, the reason is when the student, undergraduate student, propose the strategy, the company or the object of the study, they will trust on the student, because if they ask, how come you come with this strategy, they say that, "Oh, this is come up from my mind," so they will not trust on the undergraduate study. But if they can relate to the best practice framework, something like that, so we found that the company a bit trust, yeah, to the and also when they work, of course they will not suddenly becoming a senior position. They will start from the junior, and the junior will not be able to be fully a full auditor, for example, of a full project manager, or even full of enterprise architecture, enterprise architect. Of course not. So that's the way student to study, and also, yeah, just sharing with Bu Azalia that in my experience, yeah, and I sharing with other lecturer who with uh, join with our lecture now, yeah. Other lecturer is open, welcome for you to share your experience, yeah, to teach about the EA, because teaching EA is, in my opinion, is challenging. Yeah, it's challenging because we talking about everything is abstract. Everything is abstract. We're talking about future. We're talking about gap analysis, and then finally, like what is artifact? What is yeah, I'm looking for what is called the toy for kids. Uh, Lego. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to teach enterprise architecture using Lego, Bu Azalia, using Lego. So uh, because it's not easy, especially teaching for the student, or even undergraduate or master student. And sometimes I have to teach to the government, to the business people. Yeah, so I need using some analogy, something that touchable. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm using a Lego. I'm using Lego, like for example, I asking the boss, what shape do you want in the next 5 years? Yeah, they describe me. I want my team or my staff developing or creating a shape of house, big house with 2 floors, for example, or creating animal using the Lego, something like that. Yeah. So and then I spread the Lego, yeah. I spread the not 100 Lego on the floor, something like that, yeah. And then I asking them, okay, so we create something that your boss asking to create, yeah, using this spread Lego that on the floor, 100 floor. Then of course they will be confusing because they don't know. They have to pick everything random, yeah. So it's very difficult. So they don't know what they have, yeah, but they don't know what they have. I ask them, so what will you do to make it easy? Something like that. Yeah. So then we have a discussion, and then finally they pick. Okay, so that's that. Some of them they come up with, okay, so let me group it. We group all the Lego piece on the color, piece on the function, piece on the relation, something like that. So after they understand how it works, yeah. So I said that, look, arranging or putting everything in so make it everything is organized, yeah, putting every, so it's very helpful for us to understand our resources. So now when we can answer a question like how many Lego you have, what kind of shape Lego you have, what the relationship between this Lego and this Lego. So if you have known about that thing, yeah, it means when your boss asking you to create a house, then suddenly because the environment pushing your boss or your company to change the order, not just creating the two-floor house, but then suddenly asking you to creating the 10 floor house or to creating a car, for example, you will not complain because that's the real situation. Sometimes the plan doesn't work well. So sometimes the environment like COVID asking you to create something different like before. So if you know your resources, yeah, what you have known and the relationship between the resources, so you can respond the demand, the situation around your company with agile, with something that very fast, quickly, and effective, something like that. So that's just one thing to make it understand, yeah, about the benefit of the EA. So that's a description how even just to explain about the benefit, we need something to make it them understand, yeah, with the Lego case, something like that. And now when they understand, then uh, we try to explain about, so what is the Lego in the EA, in the EA document. It's getting another problem, another challenge, yeah, to explain them, yeah. But we start from the vision, yeah, guys. So for other students who join, so yes, EA, I don't know, but what I'm doing so far is everything starting from the top, yeah, everything starting from the top, starting from the vision mission, and then from the goal, from the objective, and then from the objective, because we know something that measurable, yeah, to be achieved, then we have to do we have to formulate the strategy before we decide the program or the objective, because otherwise we will just have a same program and a same activity in any company. That's what happened, what I and my team developed at now my team have developed more than 70 enterprise architecture for city and province in Indonesia. So if an EA team, they didn't or they don't formulate a strategy, I guarantee that the program, the activity will be the same. It's just template for one organization and another organization. But the truth is, we have to make a strategy based on a real situation. So we have to do the SWOT, yeah, and the TOS, so we can formulate the strategy, because we know what is the weakness, what is the strength, yeah, everything. So and the environment. So and the strategy should be different between one organization and organization line, other organization. And then from the strategy, we can formulate the program, the activity, even sub-activity, and even some specification of the tools, yeah, something like that. So what I'm doing so far, there are two kind of project in Indonesia or even ministry. Sometimes they ask me or ask my team to formulate a master plan, IT master plan. And second, they ask me to develop enterprise architecture. So firstly, what I'm doing so far is explain them. Do you ask me to develop the IT master plan, or do you ask me to develop the enterprise architecture? But because that's a very different in scope, in detail, in resource, something like that. So what common in Indonesia when organization asking to develop master plan. So the IT master plan will, from the business vision mission, convert to IT strategy, convert to the program activity or the main activity related to the INT governance management resources, or in ITIL we call it 4 dimension, or in COVID we refer to the 7 component of the INT governance management. So we plan the 7 component of INT governance management or INT digital system, refer to COVID, or we refer to 4 dimension of the ITIL dimension. Yeah, consists of the information and technology, people, organization structure, value stream, process, partner, supplier, and other components. So when we have project in digital or IT master plan, so we end up the output is the document for the program and activity relate to the component, relate to the digital system component. But if the project about the EA, so what I'm and my team doing so far is to extend that plan, becoming a program, not just program, the architect of the system, architect of the data, architect of the business process, yeah. So to extend that, becoming the operationable system until program activity and even budget. So in Indonesia, it's getting more complex because the client in a government, they many of them, they don't understand how to implement the roadmap, the roadmap of the program into the what it's called in Indonesia, we call it nomenklatur, like a list of, like reference, for the budgeting for the government. So the nomenclature for the budget for the government is very strict, so they have to follow the regulation, they have to follow the definition, the term, and all exactly the same. So that's becoming challenging, because when we develop the enterprise architecture, we don't think about the nomenclature. We think totally based on the real situation. So when I or we propose the solution, we don't think that, oh, there is no nomenclature in the regulation. So that's what I'm doing. We are doing so far is we don't care about the nomenclature first. We develop the solution first, yeah, and then when after we finish and the client or the government, local government agree, that we try to map to the nomenclature. We try to find, okay, so I think the solution, this roadmap, this activity can be input on the system budgeting, national budgeting system under this nomenclature, because there is a similar word, something like that. So for the quality is comply, because it's really fulfill or accomplish the challenge, the problem, the situation, or the future. In terms of the compliance for the regulation is also comply, because we also refer to the regulation. Even we also in Indonesia have the reference, architecture reference system based on the president regulation, and the reference also complicated. I mean, it's not flexible. So we have sometimes we need to accommodate or to adapt, adapt to the reference architecture, So that's the challenge, guys. So that's I don't know. Based on Bu Azalia, enterprise architecture is not difficult, but I don't know. I'm just curious, Bu. In so I'd like to asking if any question, please, you can ask in the chat. Just take a look, if you find a question. Is there any question? Yes. Yeah, I think there is a question here, Bu. So I think I will give opportunity first, before we have a discussion asking later. It is another. It's a question from Mr. Aidel, Yeah. Oh. Is it has been answered or not yet, Bu? Yeah, on the chat.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay. Yo, maybe you can answer first.
Okay. Thank you, bro. Actually, to to echo what you mentioned just now, situation is similar in Malaysia.
Mm,
Okay. So when you talk about how you deliver the EA lecture, yes, it's not an easy subject to deliver. And
mm,
to make you guys understand, yes, I do agree. For the undergraduates, if to teach EA is a little bit higher. ISP is still can. Strategic planning is still acceptable. Yeah, because
mm,
this EA project, to be honest, you need some knowledge and wisdom. Not to
mm,
say
mm,
that we underestimate you as a young people. Yes, you are intelligent enough, but then there are so many hidden things that you need to be a very strategic, and you need your knowledge to accustom to that particular decision. So that's why along with the knowledge, you will become a good EA architect later. So
mm, mm,
start polishing your knowledge by
mm.
having like knowledge in technology, knowledge and system development, knowledge in security and in data. And one day you'll become a very good EA person.
So in UTM, the EA subject or EA topic is taught for the undergraduate or for the master book in
Only
UTM.
for masters.
Oh, okay, see.
Only for
Yeah, yeah.
masters, and even they have the option.
Mm,
If they
mm,
would like to become the strategist, they can take
mm,
this EA subject. Or
mm,
else they will learn the strategic planning only.
mm. That's what I'm thinking. Like because the meeting, the limited time, yeah, for the meeting for the when we teaching for the undergrad, we just limited in Indonesia, just limited to 16 meeting, or even not including the exam, it's just 14 meetings, yeah. So what I'm thinking for teaching enterprise architecture for the bachelor degree is how to utilize the tools. So how to they use the Archimate, they use the tool for the PPM, PPMN engine, or any architect, EA architect tools, yeah, something like that. So like they have to recall all the knowledge from the previous or other subject, yeah. That's why in my department, the EA topic is taught in the last semester. I mean, in the highest semester, like in the semester 8 or semester 7. So the student must got the has passed the subject of business process modeling, have passed the computer networking, yeah, they have passed the strategic planning subject, have passed the application designing, something like that. So the EA topic subject must be a subject for recalling and mix up all the knowledge has gained from previous semester. Yeah. So that's the best scenario. That's the best scenario. I mean, so we just teach them to. So we don't teach them about how to, like, for example, for cooking. Yeah, we don't teach them to choose the ingredient. We don't teach them how to cut the meat. No, because they have learned the cutting meat or choosing the ingredient in the previous subject. So the EA topic, if it taught in the undergraduate, should be, in my opinion, should be in the last semester, like semester 7 or 8, and it should be just teach how to cook, how to utilize all the ingredient, all the skill we have got before. So there is no question anymore asking about how to draw BPMN, how to draw the computer network, how to create a data modeling. So that skill should be in the previous semester. So we teach them how to cascading, to mapping from the strategy, becoming the business, the service, becoming the data, becoming the application, infrastructure, and the security, and how to draw the relationship using the tool. That's what I'm thinking. Is it? Do you agree with that?
Couldn't agree more. Actually, you
Yeah.
can leverage the Archimedes notation at earlier phase. right?
Mm,
Like how you
mm,
use UML for the system development. Actually, as the undergrad, you can start using the Archimate. Why not?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
actually, in the industry, the demand for the Archimate skills is high. Yes, so I do advise for the student, please learn Archimate because many industries are actually developing the EA. Yeah, UML is considered is during our age. Yeah, bro. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
20 years ago. It was 20 years ago. Yeah, that is very hype of the UML rational rules that time. So
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah, yeah,
your
yeah,
recent
yeah,
undergraduate or graduate, please
yeah.
master the Archimate because you will get a nice CV stated there. Trust us. All right,
Okay,
bro. I think yeah, you masters it. Oh, what you say, I agree. Couldn't agree more. It's a really
okay,
interesting. Yeah.
okay. So which one is the question? The that has not answered yet? The
Maybe on the I can answer on the challenge.
yeah.
The challenge, I do agree with you. Sometimes the organization don't know what they want. Okay. So sometimes we do put a vision and mission, like what you did at first, and then when we do the as is analysis, we cover a lots of gap and we ask them to revisit. Is it your true vision and mission that you actually want to solve? Sometimes they maintain, sometimes they change. For example, in the rural ministry that we worked before, the challenge is actually on the data. They have a lot of data they captured, but they don't know what to do because they don't have the data warehouse. So that will be the core digital transformation project for them. So now they're doing it. And now
Mm,
for the other example, like Ministry of Finance, yeah, they have a department that do the process in manual ways. So
mm.
their digital transformation will be the automation and also will be the digitalization. There we have the OCR, RPA, AI, analytics, prediction, and all those things. So as what you say, EA solution is not same at every organization. Although you have a template, you have a cycle in the TOGAF, actually the content and even the method will be different. There's no single ways that you can replicate. Actually, it always being modified to suit the nature of that particular organization.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so just adding also my experience about the challenge here, guys, or maybe it's a question from the lecture. The real challenge is especially in the strategic level, yeah, about the future that they want to achieve, yeah. Based on my experience, sometimes they don't realize, they don't know the future. They don't know the future. So if we work as a consultant or work as an architect leader, we have to be able to interpret what they really want. Yeah. So sometimes they just talking and talking something. Yeah. They just imagine something, or sometimes they don't have any imagination. Can you imagine? They don't have any imagination. When I asking, what do you want to achieve for the organization in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? They don't know. They don't know. So as a consultant or as a architect, some often we need to give them the trend, give them the challenge, give them the information about, look, this is the situation, this is your competitor, this is the demand in the next 10 years. Do you understand about it? Something that sometimes they just realize, oh yeah. So how come you expect they have a imagination or vision if they just understand about the challenge? Yeah, just realize the challenge. So I think we need, as an architect, we need to be patient. We need to be patient, especially for the information system, because we not dealing just with technology, but also dealing with the people. So we need to understand some leader, they don't have a vision. They just have maybe all this vision, yeah, not the current vision with the new challenge, yeah. So sometimes we need to update with the current challenge. Then finally they have a new vision, or sometimes they just tell story, some imagination, then we help them to formulate the vision. That's what I'm doing, like, so your dream is like this, is it correct, sir? This is your dream, is it correct? So we need to find the, what is it? The concise word, the concise statement of the vision. Or sometimes the proof of the concept of the vision. So sometimes they say, like for example, I developed a master plan for one of the biggest ministry in Indonesia. I will not say something here. They just give me many statement, many story. Then finally I said, okay, so you need some system that integrate services and giving some data analytic. Is that right? Yes. Okay. How about I call the two system as one is the integrated blah 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 information system, national integrated system, and the second thing is the data analytic, national data analytic services for this one. Are you agree with that? Because sometimes we need to find the proof of concept, yeah, the practical term. Because if you just explain without a physical term, yeah, because physical term just I don't know description of the system, they don't have exactly what they want to be achieved, yeah. So yes, that's a challenge, yeah, to answer the question about. Firstly, we need as an enterprise architect, we need to be someone who can interpret the need of our client, yeah, and then to break down to be the solution. Yeah, so that's the first question. Bu, before the next question, Bu Azalia, I'm just wondering how you and your team to find the solution, Bu. I mean, you got the list of the technology, yeah? You got the list of the technology, and then that's the option for the solution. So it's depend on the knowledge of your team, right? I mean, if your team just know I mean, lack of the knowledge for the current technology or not updating the current technology, so the solution will be limited or sometimes it's out of date, right? So out of date. So in practical or your experience, how your team to find out the updated solution option?
Okay, I believe Prof also so much experience. Okay, maybe you can share your strategy later. As for my team, that's why the most important for the technology is the technology layers. I
Yeah.
will make sure I engage with the young people because
Okay.
they are the one who excited within technology, and my
Hmm.
who do the technology really into the experiments.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
because we are the strategist people and we are
Hmm.
business for nowadays.
Hmm.
So I always engage the young technologists, not that young, not the fresh grad. I mean, if you already work 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
and then they will always come with a new exciting idea. And
Hmm.
they are the one who always love to study and experiment.
Hmm.
And that in my team.
Hmm.
We also engage with the technology provider. So
Hmm. Hmm.
the
Hmm.
project, yeah, we will invite that technology provider to give a direct talk to the client as well as
Hmm.
to my team, because sometimes our team itself maybe not that strong enough to convince.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
like you can bring any big name and share.
Hmm.
This is the
Hmm.
solution we propose and this is the original providers.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
is one approach that
Hmm.
worked so far. Well, what
Hmm.
about you, Prof?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I hope this conversation give you insight, yeah, guys, who join with our class. That's as you have seen the presentation from Prof. Azalia about the solution. The solution is a list of option to answer the gap, yeah, to answer between the future and the existing. So how to fulfill the gap? So we come up with many option to fulfill the gap. It's called the solution. So the solution is consists of solution of the technology. In terms of the technology, there is technology the solution in terms of the technology, data, people, and others. But yeah, to find as many as we have the option for the solution, the better we have. Yeah. So the challenge is we as a architecture team must update the last technology. So that's the target. Not just the technology. For example, if I my client is also for the smart city. So you can imagine the smart city, and there is a challenge for the transportation. There is a challenge for the housing. There is a challenge for the road. There is a challenge for the environment. There is a challenge for the people, community, and there is a challenge for the criminal. So the question is, when we create the solution for the EA of the city, I need someone who expert in transportation, who updated with the technology of transportation. Of course, I don't have that knowledge. I need someone who has knowledge, always follow about the technology in road, in highway, in environment, yeah, in the people, in disease, in health. So that's the challenge. That's why I said when you develop a EA, it's not enough for the IT people. Yeah, we need to include our colleague from the health department, from the environment department, and I agree with you. We need to choose someone who not about senior, no, but he has a knowledge, but he also update with the current technology. Yeah, so because we need that. Like for example, if we talk about uh, uh, for example, blockchain, for example. If we not really understand about blockchain, so how come we come with some idea? Oh, this is using the blockchain. This is using the AI, for example. What kind of AI? We just not just saying about AI. We need really need to be understand what kind of AI we need to implement in that case. Yeah. So that's another challenge. Yeah. So, but I agree with you. So the that's one thing, and also many actually. So I really excited, yeah, because now I have one student, PhD student, who got scholarship double degree in ITS and in Coventry UK University. Yeah, one of the topic is how she developed strategy for digital transformation. So that strategy for digital government transformation is strategy to lead the solution. So to lead the solution of the EA, yeah, based on my cases. So it's coming up in my mind like, look, we need, I haven't found the exact or the effective method to formulate the strategy. So before we come up with the solution, we need to develop the strategy first. So yeah, I think I need to often to talk with you, yeah, but maybe I hope that we can have a collaboration, many things, because it will be applied in Malaysia, or sometimes I will invite you with some project in Indonesia. I will ask permission for you to learn from you from Malaysia. Yeah, I don't know what can I support and I learn from you. That will be interesting. So, okay, let's next to the question, Ibu. How is the acceptance of government organization in Malaysia? Acceptance, and what is it? The value creation from implementation of EA in terms of the strategic investment. I think it's asking how is the government in Malaysia? Yeah, see the enterprise architecture. Are they aware about that? Are they reject that or they ignore that? Or there is a regulation that ask like Indonesia, there is a regulation at the must. So how is the answer for Malaysia, Bu, for this question?
Easy answer, same as you.
Okay.
There's a regulation already. And in
Okay.
fact, for the ICT strategic planning, they must
Mm.
have a chapter on EA, but there will
Mm.
be not that details. And
Mm.
they already a checklist, every ministry must have EA by
Oh,
this certain period. Same like yours.
okay.
And
Okay.
some more, in our recent Malaysia plan announced
Mm.
by our Prime Minister last
Mm.
year,
Mm.
he has mentioned EA in the whole document. So everyone
Mm.
is excited to execute EA now in Malaysia.
Bu, have the government also monitor the implementation of the EA, Bu? Because now I'm work with the Ministry of the Bureaucracy of Indonesia. They will implement the new system, the application, to check whether the budgeting system, the real budget, the real expenditure of the local government really based on the EA document. So there will be a new application checking the budgeting system and checking the application of the EA. So we have two application. It's called EA information system that's under Ministry of the Apparatus. And the second is the expenditure application for recording or logging of the budgeting and real spend of the local authority. So next year, the Indonesian government will establish or run a new application. That new application will check the alignment between the EA and the real spend of budgeting spend of local. So I'm sure there will be big finding, big finding in many organizations in Indonesia that it's not matched at all. Yeah, it's not matched at all. Yeah, that's why my job now is always tell them about, look, this is very important because next year there is a check system, there is a evaluation between that will take the data directly automatically from this application, and this application will be compared, and it will be checked by this ministry. If they still okay, they still don't care about that, I say, if just ministry here, maybe you don't care, but if it come up to the, for example, the legal consequence, yeah, for the like the legal institution, yeah, there will be a consequence in terms of the legal, yeah. But my question is there any mechanism in Malaysia that has push and about the alignment between the EA and the real budget, real expenditure of the organization?
Maybe we have similar that we have been practice. They embed the EA element in the strategic plan. Because
Okay.
in Malaysia government,
Hmm.
every digital project need to be proposed together with the EA blueprint.
Okay,
So
okay,
you must
okay.
submit your EA blueprint, you must submit your project. And then when the project approved, they will be catered into the system, and they will check on the system, and they will check on your EA blueprint as well. Have you updated, and this particular system actually connect with what existing system?
It's
So
better, yeah.
but to say that it's fully digital, we just measure by the project progress. The EA document, yes, we do have a central repository for the Archimate, governed by the digital office, Jabatan Digital Negara, and every ministry is a compulsory for them to put into that server. So the Archimate object is all floating there. So any ministry actually can refer to other ministries when they're given the keys or access to check. So we have one central agency to monitor everything.
That's good.
But
That's
to
good.
ties with the budget, not much is under the Ministry of Finance, but it's more on to ties on your solution to make sure that if this ministry already have the solution, the other ministry don't build similar. You can just ask to reuse and modify accordingly. So that's the spirit of EA. First, how Malaysia tackle it.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So the control is on the budget mechanism, yeah. So when they propose the budget, they have also include the EA document, yeah, to make sure that the planning and the budget based on the EA, yeah. And that's good. Yeah,
Must
that's
have.
good.
If
Okay,
not, you
cool.
get rejected.
Cool. That's better, I think. Yeah. So, but in Indonesia, because there is two different ministries. Yeah, different ministry. Not just two, three, or even four. So getting more complicated. Yeah. I hope that and I agree in what I learned based on the literature. The boss of the ministry should be Ministry of Finance. This is the case of the Canada, yeah, the case of the Canada, because if every ministry has the same power, so they tend to be silo system. They want to have their own agenda. In terms of the EA, is very difficult. We need a powerful a ministry, yeah. And what I found, I read from the literature, I think I agree with Canada government. The boss or the top leader of the ministry should be the one who has the money. That is Ministry of the Finance. Yeah, I think so. If everything based on the money, so the the requirement, yeah, can be attached on the financial. So if you don't submit the EA, not align with the EA, so I will not approve the budget, something like that. So that's what I'm saying. Okay, let's do. We still have another 5 minutes, Bu. Another question is from Teresa. Teresa. So Teresa is from Teresa. Are you still joined with us, Teresa? Yeah. This is one of our international student. So yes, the question is from Teresa is when deciding what EA approach to use bottom up to be specific, who are the key stakeholder to involve, get insight from? Yeah, is it the top management or the people involved in the core function process book? So it's about when deciding what EA approach, yeah, to use, whether bottom up or top down, yeah. Especially here she mentioned about the bottom up, yeah. Who are the key stakeholder to be involved, yeah, to get insight from? Is it the top management who decide the approach and select the people, or from the consultant, or from the bottom up, yeah? Which one? Bu?
Okay. EA approach, bottom up or top down, you need to understand your nature of your organization. Okay, maybe I answer first and later Prof answer. So in Malaysia, in Asia, the top down work best. It's not like Western. If you in the Western, you in Europe, yes, you can do bottom up because they don't have so much layers. So trust us. Top down will work because you will get a support.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then who will be the key stakeholders? Everyone. But the tips is you must start with the top. Interview the top first because it's considered you get a blessing and then you can promote that, oh, this boss already says this. So why you don't answer my interview? Your boss already answer. So that's also the tips and strategy. Yeah, probably is my, yeah. I believe you also have the same experience like me. Yes, the first interview is also like a courtesy call. You must interview the top management. Don't go and ask from the bottom first because it shows that the top one is not important and it also show a respect. So engage as early as possible. So once you kick off your EA project, interview the number one person. And then the rest you follow through, interview the head, and then later only you interview the other person down there. And after you settle all the layers, you can interview up to you. Yeah, the engagement must be the top first. Who you should involve? As long as they can give you the input, you should interview them. So you must select accordingly and you must plan what you want to discover and ask and get the information. Must be very selective. Don't ask too many because you will get confused later. Your information will get so scattered. Ask the key person. Who know better? The person inside the department. So one of the strategy also, maybe Prof also have a similar one. Before we go and interview the people down there, we already appoint the representative of that particular department or unit who has the EA knowledge. So actually, they are the gatekeeper for us. They help us a lot. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Because the EA basically is about how we align all the investment, especially the IT alignment, yeah, to be aligned to the business, and the top of the business is the vision mission of the company, which is usually formulated by the leader. Yeah. So the I call it the locomotive, yeah. It's like train, yeah. The locomotive who pull all the train is the leader. So I agree. I think the EA must be top down, but the bottom up approach, in my opinion, is appropriate and effective for taking a picture of the existing situation of the existing situation. So the bottom up, we will see what happened actually in the daily real activity. But the direction of the company is not direct by the majority, no, because the company is not democracy, it's not democracy system. The company is authoritarian system based on who lead or who has the money, who the leader that want to. That's the meaning of the leadership. That's the meaning of the vision. So we cannot follow the direction based of what majority employees want. No. So what we picture from the bottom is the reality, because we will find the gap between what the leader want and what real situation in the majority on the operation. So if we found the real operation is not fit with the direction, it means that there is a big gap. Yeah, it is a big gap. So we need to draw the gap, and then the challenge for finding the solution getting bigger because the gap is bigger. Yeah, that's my opinion, Bu. I'm trying to mapping your approach from the bottom and the top. Yeah, so basically is the top that will lead all the approach, all the direction of the EA, but the bottom up is we have to do the bottom up approach for uh, knowing, for identifying the current, the existing situation. Yeah, is that you agree with that?
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah,
Because the truth is actually at the bottom.
yeah,
You must
yeah,
interview the bottom, only then you know all the secrets.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Try
That's
to
a
do the e-project, then you find so many things. Good
uh,
and not to say bad, good and something to improve.
cool, cool.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so I think we have answered all the question, yeah, guys. So hopefully for you, student and lecturer who join with uh, our lecture to this evening, yeah, and also I found some practitioners from government in Indonesia, yeah, also join with this. I hope that you, especially for the government, you understand actually there is a certain academical method to develop the document that you used to see or you found every time the government asking us to develop the document. So there is a certain methodology. So for the practitioner or government official who join with this lecture, so I hope by understanding the method, you can evaluate your consultant. You can ask the right question to your consultant. If the consultant cannot answer like the presentation that Bu Azalia saw, yeah, so you know, oh, so there is a gap, there is something, so you can ask. So asking, did you do this step? Did you do this step? Can you show me this artifact? Yeah. So if the presentation, that everything that exists in the presentation, your consultant cannot answer, suddenly they give you the document. So it's a good to ask them about that and questioning about their work. Yeah, because I'm afraid that they just copy paste from other document. Yeah, this lecture is educate us together, including the government official, to understand what actually their project, their budget went through to the document. What is the right document? And for the lecturer who joined with this lecture tonight, so I hope it gives you insight what approach need to be done, yeah, to teach about EA. I understand there are many challenges, yeah, to teach EA, especially for the undergraduate, yeah, and but we have discussed about what option to teach EA for the undergraduate and what option to teach for the master degree. For the student who join this, yeah, don't worry, it needs time, yeah. So at least you can start from the Archimate and to recall all the knowledge about the business process modeling, strategic planning, infrastructure modeling, yeah, the networking, diagram, and other knowledge about the hardware, software, organization. So if you study in Department or School of Information System, yes, you are right place to study about EA. But for the undergraduate, at least you need to use the tools, yeah, in order to mix all the knowledge about component organization component, yeah, in order to support the vision. So that's what I can wrap up from this lecture. Maybe for the last message that you want to say to the participant, please.
What you said, it seemed like mine. So actually, I'm so excited because I find someone who really same wavelength and same knowledge. Not to say, of course, you are much more experienced. So it's really excited to have this conversation because we can learn from Malaysia experience, from Indonesia experience, and we understand its subject is not easy to understand, but somehow it's so valuable. So listen what Prof. Tony already said. I couldn't agree more. All he said is true. So looking forward, I hope that we can still continue this collaboration and
Inshallah, inshallah.
to see all of you again, and perhaps we can do a
Yes.
same project together in the future. Thank
Yes.
you for inviting.
Yeah, thank you. So, and also, when we help the company or help the government to develop EA, actually we help our country about the spending of the budget expenditure. Yeah, it means that we saving our money, we saving people money. So that's our ibadah, yeah, guys. So that's our contribution to our country. So, if we know a new knowledge about planning, it means that we really take care of our country by make sure every spending of our money of the country money really spent for really effective way to achieve the goal of the country and the goal of the company. Yeah, so that will be a part of our ibadah. So thank you again, Prof. Nur Azalia. I hope it will be a good deed for you, yeah, Jariah for you. And inshallah, we will continue, keep contacting, and I will learn from you, from other colleague from the Malaysia, and hopefully we can have collaboration in research or any a PhD or anything that we can do together, yeah, between Malaysia and Indonesia. Again, thank you, peace. Big applause for Prof. Azalia, guys. So see you again. For you who are interested in the next guest lecture, we will have guest lecture tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Jakarta time about data science. So today we have a IT service management and enterprise architecture, and tomorrow at 3:30 Jakarta time we will have a data science from lecture from Saudi Arabia. Don't worry, the lecture from Saudi Arabia will be delivered in English, not Arabic. Yeah, so we afraid if in Arabic you will just say Amin Amin all the time. So it's not about doa, it's about the lecture. Yes, that's right. Tomorrow will be delivered in English. So again, thank you. See you, ya Bu. Thank you so much, Bu. Inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah, Bu.
everyone.
Thank you. So I will close this. Thank you, guys.